You ready? Yeah. I hope someone is, because I'm not. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Arr. Greeting, greeting, greeting. Hello, hello. Welcome. All the other various stuffs. How is everybody? Hello, replay crew. As no one's actually here yet, you know, we got a thumb up. Ooh. And Yellow's here. How you doing, sexy Sammy? Hope all is well with the owl. All is vaguely human here. Out with the dog at the park and you got COVID. Oh dear. So not all well then. Well, fresh air will do you good. But yeah. Get well soon. I think Mary might have something as well at the moment. Tommy, how you doing, you spexy beast? I'm cleaning out the quail hutches. Oh, got that lovely quail poop squidging between your toes, have you? I mean, at least it'll only be your lower ankles that get pecked. Yeah, that's pretty much all Mary's had, is a runny nose and a bit of a headache. But yeah, she's over it pretty much now. But yeah, it does seem that that's the way it's going. It's mutating into various different forms, and the children have been back at school now for a week or two, so yeah, that'd do it. Oh dear. Yeah, and so the kids have gone back to school, so the little plague bearers have been huddling together, concocting new diseases for everybody. If anyone watching is familiar with Warhammer 40,000 or even the Fantasy Battle, or whatever they call it now, Age of Slogmar, Nurgle is the chaos god of disease and pestilence. So my theory is the god of children. And the children are the Nurglings. The spreaders and purveyors of diseases and poxes and all sorts of nastiness. So yeah, just stay away from kids. It's good advice, whatever. Ooh, my algae is purling. So's my butt. Yeah. Yeah, just stay away from children. Soft play areas. Do not ever go to a soft play place. They may as well just call it Petri dish. Because I don't think there's ever been a children's play party at a soft play area where nobody's come away with some kind of new disease. So it's bad enough working retail for catching all sorts of random bugs and colds from the customers, but yeah, working with especially preschool age children. Yeah. Howdy, Mutton Cut. How you diddling? Uh, I'll be right back. Hey, be away from keyboard and lurking while I throw the ball. Don't talk crap because I can hear. Would I talk crap about you, Sam? If I was going to do it, I'd do it to your face and then give you a hug afterwards. You know me, I'm not one for the going behind people's backs and backbiting and all that. No. If I got a problem with someone, I'd tell them to their face. If they don't like it, that's their problem. I'm sorry, did it hurt your feelings? Oh, well, that sounds like a you problem. If people don't annoy me, then I don't upset them. It's quite simple. And Not Dennis is here. How you doing, Not Dennis? Yeah, I think I found a fish girl who also rides motorbikes. Oh dear. Oh, Tom. Oh, you may have found the one. Hopefully, she enjoys mowing as well. I mean, as long as she's not, half fish, half human, and it's not the top half that's fish. Keep you going, but as we would say in these parts, keep you trashing. I mean, I found a fish girl that also likes haunted churches, so I'm good. Well, she doesn't keep fish, but she likes fish. I hope. Well, she spends almost as much time talking to the fish as she does to me, so that's got to be a good thing. Um, I was going to tell her I'm working finance. I mean, no, if she's after the six figures, you know, there's nothing in that about there being a decimal point and two figures after the decimal point. So technically, 1,000 is six figures. In that case, I earn seven figures. Just likes fish, but despises plecos. Well, actually, no. Mary loves plecos and snails. She loves the way their mouths go when they're on the glass. Nom, 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 nom. Evening, Linkbot. Whether Mary would hold a pleco, I don't know. She was fine picking up Watson the goldfish, but I don't think she'd be too happy holding a pleco because they tend to sort of fight a bit harder. Hello, Debs. Hugs. Um, yeah, it takes a special kind of. Literally, I do a hug and the camera decides it's going to focus on where my hand was. Come on, camera. There we go. Maybe that's the way to get the camera to focus properly. Do jazz hands. No, I don't mind doing an Al Jolson. I just won't do blackface. Oh, you're always welcome to a hug, Deb. You know that. Anyone to get a hug. You all know what I'm like. I'll hug anyone. Well, within reason. I mean, there's some people I would hug just to stick something on their back. private bone spurs. And in that case, it would be a target. Yeah, no, back out of the politics. I do have to say, as a Brit watching from the safety of a different country, the American presidential race is always a lot more entertaining than ours. Oh, ours is usually pretty boring. There's not a lot happens. I mean, we don't need to have debates because on a pretty much daily basis, our leaders debate each other in the House of Commons anyway. So rather than play golf or any of the other stuffs that they've been getting in trouble for, complaining about crowd sizes, AI. It is just hilarious to watch. And there goes the young lad who's got the 125cc motorbike with the holes drilled in the exhaust to make it sound more powerful, which doesn't work. Actually loses power. Yeah, exactly. It's a 4-stroke 125 with a hole drilled in the exhaust. And it's restricted as well, so it won't go any more than 60. Bless. I mean, I had a loud exhaust on my motorbike when I had a 125. But the reason mine was loud is because it was a race pipe and it had no silencer in it whatsoever. It also said on the side of the can, not for highway use, as did the tyres, which is partly why I lost my license all them years ago. Yeah, don't do that. Don't break the law. It's bad. Instead, go cuddle a quail. Much like Tommy's doing right now. Ah, you had a YZ. Yeah, mine was an RD, also a 2-stroke. So it sounded like someone tearing sheet metal when you. Yeah, mine went over 60 as well, but it was supposed to be restricted to 60. That's another reason I lost my license. Because it was insured as restricted when it wasn't. Oh, and we're back to the. Oh, apparently, refashioned hippie has been posting about booty floss. That might be worth watching, especially if she's wearing it. Sorry. Yep, I had an old coffin tank RD 125 LC. That was, yeah, ridiculous. And I blew the clutch on it by doing wheelies. So I replaced the stock clutch with a race clutch. And the clutch got really heavy. I went from one finger to pull the clutch in to having to use the whole hand. But it never went bang again. So fishy wise, what's been happening in the fishy room? We now have in the end tank a new batch of bristly noses and a random limia that managed to escape. Even newer baby bristle noses in the breeder box. Got some more baby Amica splendens. And I moved what the long fin bristle nose that was supposed to be called Rose, but turned out to be male. Moved that in with the shrimp tank and renamed him Finbar. I moved what I think is another female bristle nose in with Fred. TS100 went well. Oh, good little bikes. Hello, Barbara. Hug for Barb. Hope you're well. Why did my voice go weird then? I have a weird voice at the best of times, so going a bit more weird isn't really too much to worry about. What else has been up to this week? As I said, neighbour's been away on holiday all week. He took the dog with him, so I've just been looking after the cats, which is a lot less stress, grief and hassle. Just a little bit more poop to clear up is all. Don't have to go for a walk either. Evening, Mark. Hope you're well. So yes, mucho kitty fusses and snuggles. Went for a bike ride but mistimed things due to the unique way the weirdness of the seasons has been in the UK this year. Things are a bit behind. So basically I went on a 16, was it 16? 18-mile bike ride to go get some alder cones. And they weren't ripe yet, so we'll give it another month and they might be ready, because I'm running low on alder cones. There are alder trees near me, but I'm not gonna put those in a tank because they're right beside the A11, which is a big busy road with lots of traffic on it all the time, so we're not going to put them in a fish tank. You can wash them off. Yeah, I want them for the tannins. So yeah, the place I was going to get them is very quiet and peaceful and calm with no sort of traffic, so they're safe. As long as it doesn't rain again, I'll be okay. If it rains too hard, the trees will be underwater again. Almost hit another car. Oh, jeez. No, I didn't. What did I nearly hit this week? I nearly hit a deer. Thankfully, the deer and I had fairly quick reactions and we managed to avoid a collision. The fun of cycling down country lanes where there's very little traffic, if any, and you just like rumbling along, minding your own business. All of a sudden, the local wildlife throws itself in front of you. Been belting down most of the day and yesterday. We had a very short shower earlier. It was big raindrops, but not a lot of them. But yeah, I understand that other places have had a lot more rain than we have. I think it's coming our way, or we just dodged it. So either going to get wet or we've missed it. Oh dear. Yeah, so I regularly see deer. Mostly it's the muntjacs. So, get the odd roe deer, whatever the other one is. Not the. Why do I always forget what the other deer is? Not the red, because there's a few around here, but not many red deer. The one that's between a roe deer and a red deer, size-wise. I can't remember, but yeah, seen some of those. Foxes, badgers, squirrels, ferrets, stoats, um, bunnies, hares, various small barnyard animals. Barn owls, red kites, kestrels, sparrowhawk. It's one of the nice things. I mean, cycling down little country lanes is nice at the best of times, but then when you got all the wildlife going on as well, just makes life a bit better, a bit more worth living. Especially when you like moo at the cows and they moo back, or you bar at the sheep and they bar back at you. Wink at the pigs and they wink back. You start talking to the animals. And I'm also weird because I always say hello as well. So, hello, little dearie. Hello, Mr. Squizzle. Hello, Bunny Wabbit. Yeah, I'm weird. It's sad like that. See plenty of dogs as well. And I normally just, if the dog sort of comes towards me, I'll stop and give the dog a fuss and then just carry on. I'm not one of those cyclists who panics when a dog comes towards them. My family, dark, I see something dark. It's like with antlers, yeah. Yeah. It's pedaling at night is definitely interesting. And not in town, obviously, but when I'm out on the little country lanes on the bike and it's dark, I do like to turn the lights off. Um, yeah, it's cycle by the moonlight. Um, you don't need to see any more than that, let's be honest. Well, yeah, you do go a bit slower. But you then ride not necessarily as such by sight, but by feel. Because on the little country lanes, you'll feel when you're either at one side or the other of the lane, because you'll start hitting gravel or grass, or you'll feel the nettles whipping your legs. If you go too far the other way, then you'll feel gravel again. And then you just, am I in the middle of the road or am I on the far side? Yeah. Yeah, it's just spotting the potholes. That's the only issue. Generally easier if it's dry, but it has rained, because then the potholes are full of water and they shine. But yeah, me being out in the middle of nowhere in the dark is good fun. Get a lot of wildlife even in Silicon Valley neighborhood, next to preserve, deer, raccoons, and coyotes or coyote, yeah. Yeah, so we don't get the coyotes or the trash pandas. What's in the dark? That deer scared me so much I almost. Yeah, it's. Thing is, you probably scared the deer just as much as the deer scared you. Neither of you probably expected to see each other right then. As I've seen recently, we do have some wildcats in the area now. They're the size of a normal house cat, but it's when you see them, you can see the difference. I mean, they look like a tabby, but the difference is in the head and the face shape. Just we've got a bit more of a I can kill you with my face look about them. So that bit more sort of butch. Generally shorter legs as well. Yes. I mean, so the way I see it, things being scarier at night is it's like in the days when I used to go wandering around graveyards at night, which I don't do anymore because people call the police these days. But and people go, aren't you scared of going around a graveyard at night? I'm like, well, why? I'm not scared of ghosts. No, but there might be weird people. I am the weird person in the graveyard at night. The people I'm likely to meet as I'm wandering through the graveyard at night are my kind of people. One side's forest, one side's zoo. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you know there's a zoo there because otherwise, hearing lions while you're on a bike ride would be very scary. Just hear a lion or a tiger roar while you're on a bike ride, not knowing you're biking past a zoo or something. Yeah, that result in an increase in speed and jet propulsion. Yeah, I mean, there is one way I ride where I do ride past the zoo, but I've not heard anything. It's I don't know nothing. I think they've still got some big cats there, but last time I went, the main attraction was the chimps that threw their poop at you. And given how much they charge, I'm not going there. I might see if there's a route where I could cycle around the back of the zoo. That might be more interesting. It's Banham Zoo if anyone's interested. Banham. Um, Sorry, it's far enough away from my house. It depends which way you go. If you take the direct route, it's like 7 miles. If you go the route I normally take, it's about 12. I prefer to go the more scenic route, the one with the pretty scenery and not the big busy roads. I don't mind riding on the busy roads. I'd just rather avoid it if I can. Speaking of which, I did get an upgrade for my bike this week. Not fitted it yet. My new handlebars and my suspension stem. So that should get rid of some of the vibrations that have been causing hand numbness. Oh, pardon me. Oh, 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 oh. That was a lengthy butt whistle. So yeah, basically I've gone for bit more rise on the handlebars, so I was sitting a bit more upright with less weight on my hands, and then with springy stem underneath. You get bobcats look a lot like that, the size of a large dog. And yeah, I do like the vibes, but yeah, I can ride no-handed as well. It's just it's the way you sit when you ride no-handed. After a while, it starts getting painful. Ricky, how you doing, my friend? It's been a while. Hope all is well with you. I'm starting to wonder whether you've been abducted. Um, living in the south, lots of nature. Yeah, I say living in the east, we've got lots of nature as well. I've literally just got to go half a mile in. Well, half a mile to a mile in any direction. I'm out in the either in the country or in farmland. So there's usually something easily accessible, or just look to my left and watch the blackbirds going around munching all the bugs in the garden. Yeah, you keep going. You got him? Yeah, good blacky bird. You see, now I've cleared quite a bit of the brambles, I can actually see what's going on in the garden. I can even see the pond now. Still got a fair chunk more brambles to clear, but getting there. Yeah, so I've got. What else have I seen lately out there? Other than the fish and the frogs and blackbirds, hedgehog, cat. Judging by the way that the blackbirds all just flew off. It's apparently because my garden was overgrown, I was responsible for the mice in the area. I've not seen a single sign of any mice. Been producing a movie, so busy, plus work, mum's gone crazy. Doctor has suggested, yes, where's to put her in an asylum, worst case scenario. Oh, yeah, asylums are the worst case scenario. I mean, I don't know about India, but they're certainly a lot better in the UK than they used to be. It's more about finding a solution and helping the person either deal with it and finding the right medication to help with it, rather than just drugging them to the eyeball. Yeah, it's kind of understandable that, you know, however long they were together and suddenly not there anymore. It's from one nutter to another. Give your mum a hug for me. Yeah, 42 years together. That's gonna mess you up. I was 6 when your parents got together. I was in what, second year at school. Oh god. So passed on the day of their marriage anniversary, also my birthday, ironically enough. Yeah, that's going to make it worse. Are you sure he didn't just forget to buy her a card and some flowers or something? So I mean, I know men have tried all sorts to get out of not having to buy or not having to apologise for forgetting an anniversary or a birthday. I'm just saying. I mean, some people have gone out for milk and cigarettes and just not come back again. I know I shouldn't make light of it, but if I didn't think you'd understand, I'm just having a bit of a joke. I wouldn't do it. I mean, even for me, there are things I try not to joke about too much, depending on the audience. Getting cremated is worse than getting a card. I don't know. Have you been in a card shop lately? Although, I've got to say, cards would be a lot easier if Mary and I got married. Right? I'm not saying that's a good reason to get married, but finding like Mother's Day, birthday, anniversary, Christmas cards to someone who is your partner. Now you've been together nearly 8 years now. Finding one that isn't my darling wife or my fiance is really quite difficult. There might be one or two cards that are just to the one I love, to my special whatever, and they're usually pretty naff. So, yeah, it does make buying cards on my side at least, because I don't do Moon Pig or Funky Pigeon or whatever the ones they are nowadays. Maybe I should. I just don't like the idea of spending that much on a piece of printed cardboard. But admittedly, won't just get thrown in the bin because Mary and I do keep all the cards we give each other. You know, it's kind of a lot of money for not a lot, if you know what I mean. Yes, I know I could make one myself, but nah. Probably by the time I'd bought all the bits to make one myself, it'd cost more. And I'd end up with sequins glued to my face or something like that. Yeah, we're going to give up on that idea. Although we are already in the Mary's birthday and Christmas phase of figuring out if there's anything either of us actually wants. In my case, I mean, yes, there is, but nothing suitable for a birthday or Christmas present. No. Yeah, you've had lots to take your mind off things, Ricky, and your mum maybe hasn't. So she's kind of dwelling on it. And as we know, when we dwell on things, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and you just keep spiraling. And you kind of hope that you can either throw out an anchor or a metaphorical grappling hook and stop yourself from sliding down, but it's not always that easy. The human brain is a very strange thing. It's like I liken some like mental health things like that with And on the physical ailment side, something where the immune system attacks the body. So like lupus or stuff like that, where it's your immune system is attacking your body. Whereas with mental health, it's similar in that it's your brain is attacking your brain. It's a very hard thing to get out of. 40 years next month. You don't even look 40, Barbara. God, you must have married young. Starting to get used to the idea that one of us will be first. Too quiet in another room, we had to check. Yeah, it's something that we all. It's kind of morbid, but we are all going to go that way at some point, and all we can hope is it's quick and painless. But I've already said, just whatever the cheapest funeral is, right? Whatever the cheapest method of body disposal is, because I won't need this meat sack anymore because I won't be in it. So I don't care if it's just in a cardboard box in a landfill. It doesn't bother me. There's no need to spend thousands on a posh wooden box that you're then just going to bury or set fire to. Why? It's hallucinating. Nurses and doctors in our house don't know what to do except get good psychologists. It used to be yeah, that is the thing though, is psychologists, psychiatrists, it is one of those professions where, because you are constantly dealing with people with problems like that, it can get to you. You might be able to hold it off, but then if something happens to you, then it can kind of all come bubbling to the surface at once. So I mean, much as I enjoy the odd hallucination, it's usually not a good thing. Yeah, white blood cell count might not be a bad idea. I mean, I don't have. You are not that old, Barbara. Never. It's the Squire of Seahorses. How you doing, Raina? Hope all is well with you. You and the chest bursters. And Happy Place is here as well. Howdy, Happy Place. Oh, but what is your happy place like? I mean, I don't really have a happy place. Not one I can describe anyway, without getting myself into trouble. I mean, I have a safe place. Today's topic is wherever we happen to go. So far, we've covered wildlife, mental health, wind, cycling. we had to work today, so soon you can afford some more sea ponies. Yay! I mean, not yay for the work. Obviously, work sucks. Even if you enjoy your job, work sucks. If it was fun, they wouldn't call it work, they'd call it play. Doing water changes and tuning in. And that gives the age away. You've got to be of a certain age to say that you're tuning into something. It's although, speaking of the, yeah, so you're still a young'un. She got the E. coli a few weeks ago, and problems got worse. Yeah, so I'm older than happy place. Yay. Working LFS move, yeah. So it's but it's still work, even though it's kind of work that you don't mind doing. Yeah, I actually quite enjoy my job currently, the one I do now. But it's still work. I don't go, I've got to go to work. It's like, oh, time for work. I don't despise going. I don't hate it or anything. But yeah, there's things I'd rather do. Like not work. Give me a chance. I'd rather sit on a couch or go for a bike ride or watch random crap on YouTube. And I don't include anyone here's channels in random crap. I mean, mine is, but nobody else's is random crap. Yeah, I would say it's one of those things that if the body's fighting off one thing, then other things can get worse. So it's like Corey says with fish, it's like they can take 2 stress factors, but they can't take 3. Once you hit the 3rd stress factor in, then things start going wrong. It's the same with people. We can take one thing being slightly off and we can deal with it. Like if we've got a cold, let's say we just got a normal cold. Yeah, it's annoying. It's a pain in the hole. You got a headache. Your nose is running. You got a cough, but you can get on with it. But if you then get food poisoning on the top of that, everything gets worse. Infection can cause mental health issues in an elderly person, especially a urinary. In that case, I must have seriously bad urinary infections. Everyone tells me doing tank maintenance is work. Think of it as stress relief. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, it's like me when I go on a bike ride. Yeah, it's physical. It's physical work, but it lets my head clear out. All the random little annoying bits, I can either think through them while I'm cycling along because I've not got to pay much attention to what I'm doing, really. I'm just pedaling. I can either work things through in my head or they just disappear out of it. And then when I get back, I might feel physically tired, but my brain is in a better place. And we each have different things that do that for us. 6 sea ponies, 3 species, 777.70 euros, and those are the cheap ones. Yep. I can thoroughly believe it. Oh, had to cut that burp short. There was a lump. Walk around every day with a hip that's bone on bone, so contact pain is part of my life. Welcome to my world. My knees are kind of like that. There's not a lot of cartilage left, if any. And well, let's just say my hips aren't all there, a bit like my brain. Oh yeah, if you work with people you get on well with and you can have a laugh with, then yeah, it can make a really bad job much better. I've no idea who said it, but they said people don't quit a bad job; they quit a bad boss. 41 had first hip replacement, had the second one in January. I mean, yeah, it can't hurt to try, Ricky. And if it just relieves the problems slightly, if there is a issue, relieves it slightly, then it makes it easier to treat the other thing. Yeah, so I was saying with the cold and then getting a dose of food poison at the same time. If you can clear one out, then the other one gets easier to fix because your body's only fighting one thing. No, it's like anything. You try doing two things at once, it takes you longer than if you did one thing at a time, and you do them quicker. It's the same thing. I'll get it by tomorrow. So I'm back. Just because her birthday tomorrow, she was supposed to be in Dubai for. Oh no. Staying back. Yeah. Well, yeah. You've got to be with your mum for her birthday, especially if she's struggling at the moment. I mean, it might just be something as normal as having a normal birthday party. Well, not necessarily a party, but a birthday. Something completely normal, and you know, I won't say every day, but a normal thing. Even just that might help. As I said, the brain is a weird and wonderful thing. Well, yeah, no celebrating, yeah, but it's not celebrating to say, happy birthday, spend the day with your mum, that kind of thing. I mean, would it be celebrating to go out for lunch or something? If you could, something that simple. But yeah, it's fairly young for hip replacements. Barbara got arthritis in the hand. Yeah, I got not. Yeah, it's not something I need to grumble about. I get it in the ball of my left foot and the end of that finger, that joint there. Again, that is just wear and tear, and probably with the finger, it's probably because I've broken it too many times. There's probably chunks of bone floating about in there. I mean, that one doesn't even crack when I pull it out of joint anymore. It just sort of comes out and goes back in again. Much like my hips. Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I don't have any long-term health issues that I'm aware of. Got to go. Woken up. Have a great sleep. Yep, you have a great stream too. Oh, great stream? You're not streaming. What? Huh? My brain's gone again. Yeah. Give our love to your mum. Give her a hug from Fish Fam and from me. And you know, much as I hate to say it, positive thoughts and vibes being sent. You know me, I'm not going to send prayers because I don't think anyone's going to want anything from the gods I might pray to. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. But yeah, exactly. Just let her know she's loved. That's probably the best thing you can do. Whew. It's, it's been happening at work as well. Since when did I become the go-to for? It's like at work, if people have got a problem or they need to grumble or get something off their chest, they always come to me about it. If I made notes of all the things that people tell me, I could cause so much grief at work. I mean, our previous assistant store manager, the one that got fired, I had a diary because with times, dates, and what she did or didn't do, purely because I had a feeling she was going to try and throw people under the bus. And I didn't need to use it in the end. But certain other people knew I'd been keeping notes. And then it kind of got out, and I kind of get the feeling that in a disciplinary meeting, it was kind of mentioned that someone might have been taking notes. Yeah. Despite the circumstances, yes, happy birthday to Ricky's mum. Should we do it? Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ricky's mum. Happy birthday to you. And if she's not insane now, she will be after that. Why do I insist on singing on my streams when I can't sing? I don't know. Is it because I don't care? Quite probably. Mary and I were talking earlier about musicians who get up on stage and perform in front of thousands of people. It's like how bad the nerves must be. This is live, and if you make a mistake, everyone knows it. If you fall over, everyone sees it. Yeah, that kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that'd bother me. I think I'd be fine with it. I think I'd probably be happier if I did mess up. Because then it'd be like, yeah, I'm human. We all make mistakes from time to time. None of us are perfect. I mean, hello, Crystal. How you doing, me dearie? It's been a while. Yeah. Where was I going? I'm all right. It's just every other bugger, as usual. Nice job. We all like the mistakes that other people make. Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to make a mistake, depending on what the context is, either own up to it and go, yeah, my bad, I screwed up, and deal with the consequences. Generally, by owning up to it, the consequences won't be as bad as if you don't own up to it. And it's someone like a singer and you fluff the words up or forget the next line. Just go with it. Make light of the situation. Don't be like, no, we need to start again. I missed the line. Just go. Do a silly dance until you remember what the next line is. No, I do not have a fine voice. Now, I'm just going to check that auto tune isn't on. No, I really don't. I've got a voice for silent movies and a face for radio. That might be because of the music I like, though. Because I tend to like the more complex music, or the ones with the really good singers, or the unique voices. And they're probably not the best things to try and sing. Uh, listen to a lot of Nightwish, a lot of Arion. So, yeah, me trying to do female soprano vocals is probably not a good idea at the best of times. Especially when they're trained opera singer sopranos. Or when you listen to something like Pearl Jam or Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. It's like, no, just. But the problem is, even though it's subconscious, you sing it like they sing it, or try to sing it like they sing it, and at the same notes, and I might not be able to hit those notes. I certainly can't hit quite a lot of those notes. Because this part is usually fairly bone solid. I have no head voice. So I get to a certain pitch level and then it goes and dies. It's just nothing above it. I can go quite low. We're not talking Jeff Castellucci levels of low, where you basically run out of keyboard if you're trying to figure out what key he's singing. And if you're unfamiliar, I will stick the name in the chat and then you can check him out yourself. Is it that, or is it? I think it might be something like that. He's got an amazing bass voice. His version of Over the Misty Mountains from The Hobbit is spectacular, and his version of 16 Tons, that's just ridiculous. Yeah. When it starts out at a note that most people can't get down to, and it just goes down from there, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just, another male vocalist I really enjoy, Tommy Johansson. He did "You Raise Me Up" by what was his name? Who did "You Raise Me Up" originally? I know one of the boy bands covered it badly. Josh Groban, that was it. He did the original, but Tommy did a version. He did it an octave higher, and you think fair enough. This is the guy who played lead guitar in the power rock band Sabaton. What? Where did that come from? I think he also did a cover of an ABBA song as well. He's done loads of covers. I'll stick his name in there as well. He's definitely well worth looking up. Hit the right, no, not caps lock. Jeffy Jeff, how you doing? It's yeah, caps lock should be removed from all keyboards. There is no need for it. There could be a more useful key put there. Definitely. Another return button or enter. You don't need caps lock. That's mostly because I work with a couple of people who put caps lock on and leave it on. They'll press shift to go to lowercase. No, that's wrong. Wrong way round. It's annoying because if you're not paying attention and you go to sign in on that computer after they've left caps lock on and don't notice, you get 3 attempts to sign in before it freezes your profile. And this is the work profile that you use to sign into the tills and stuff. So if you don't notice that the caps lock's on, you can easily lock yourself out of the system. Then you have to call the IT department at head office to get them to unfreeze it for you. It's a pain in the hole. Just busting his butt on the fish room. I shall get some of my water changes done tomorrow morning before work, and the rest will get done Tuesday because I'm off. Depends how I feel. I might just do them all Tuesday because I've got to fit my new handlebars and stem. The handlebars would be a lot easier to just change, but stem makes things a little more awkward because I can't just put the bike up in the stand. Because if you undo the stem with the bike up in the stand, the forks fall off and then all bearings go everywhere. And I don't want to be crawling around on the front lawn with a magnet trying to find all the ball bearings. Plus I need to get a pipe cutter from work to chop the bars down a bit because they're a little bit wide at the moment. I'll go grab them. Right. That way we have holographic reflectory stickers, labels, which I might take off. But yeah, I'm going to have to cut the bars. I'll probably cut them down to about there actually. So that's that way. Fair bit to cut off the ends. And the stem, aim it upright, you might see. So you've got the parallelogram with a spring in the middle, adjustable. Comes with 4 different springs as well. So, I mean, it won't do it in my hand, but yeah. So the bars go up and down a bit as you go over bumps. So it will get rid of some of the vibrations that are giving me numb hands. Because yay, carpal tunnel and ulnar nerve damage. Yeah, bit of a high riser, so I'm a bit more vertical. Although it might actually end up being lower because I'm using at the moment a much higher rise stem. So we shall see. We might have to get a higher rise bar, but the handlebar is the cheaper part of the setup. That was just the one that I could actually get as roughly the right size and shape and diameter and everything at short notice. The one with the 100mm rise, yeah, not quite that bad. 100mm rather, that's a 50. So if I do need to go higher, I can get a 70 or a 90 or 100. If I really want to stay solid, I could stick a set of BMX bars on there and be like going down the road. I don't think we'll go quite that far though. Especially as BMXs have a 25mm clamp and that my bike's 31. So yeah, it'll be a case of I'll pull the old stem and bars off in one. Just undo the stem bolts and put the new stem bars on, and then figure out what spacers I need. With guarantee I'm going to need to change the spacers on the fork stem. Howdy Salient, how you doing? Yeah, and we'll see how we go. So I might get that done Tuesday and then go for a bit of a ride Wednesday, and I'll take the correct size Allen keys and the springs and stuff with me, so if I need to I can have an adjust about. With BMX you can like a cruiser. It would be very slow though. I mean, I'm not, how to put it, I'm not looking for being aerodynamic and going, all tucked up and hunched up and going zoomies. I want to at least be in a relatively decent position for transferring of power. There's actually quite a lot of science behind it, and yeah, I may have been going down a bit of a wormhole with maths and physics and understanding how the whole system works. There's a lot goes into it. It's not just a case of set the seat height, okay, set the seat at about the right height and job done. I mean, that's fine for shorter distances, but when you're doing longer distances, you do have to get things kind of just about exactly right for you. Although thankfully my actual pedal stroke is pretty good. I don't have problems with my knees going left and right, or my feet doing weird things. My feet stay relatively level. My knees are going up and down in line. I'm not rocking too much side to side on the saddle, which means it's not too high or too far back. And then getting the front end right is, because if you put the bars further away, you lean further forward, which changes the angles of your hips and the angles of your knees. And then you have to adjust things. You just gradually finesse things until you get them just about right. Sit upright on my downhill bike for street use. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever's more comfortable. There's a lot is put into being the most efficient, most aerodynamic, blah blah, whatever position. And this saddle is better because it's X lighter or narrower, or so I don't see the point in having a seat that's lighter but with no padding on it if you've then got to just put all the padding in your clothes, like your cycling shorts, and then you got to carry it around when you're off the bike and look like you filled your panties. Look, we've all seen those people the cyclists wearing all the lycra and they've got all the padding in their butt and they just look like they filled their nappy or diaper. And the reason they got all that padding on their butt is because they've got no padding on the seat, because they think having padding on the seat is a bad thing. No, if the seat's comfortable, you don't need the padding in your clothing. But what do I know? I'm not a racer. I don't ride a race bike. I just actually, sit and think about things rather than go by, this is what people say is right. I look at it and go, well, that's what people say is right. Why do they say it's right? What is the science or the reasoning behind it? And I go, either, that makes sense. Or I go, what? Um, yeah, too many options. Yeah, it's yeah, it's same as me with radio controlled cars. I used to be, and I've still got a wardrobe full of them. Um, yeah, I'd have an RC car for every different type of race that there was. I'd love loads of different bikes. I'd have something kind of like what I've got at the moment, but actually probably more a Dutch bike just for going to work and back because they're really comfortable, very low maintenance, upright sit and beg shopper type Dutch bike. Then something like I've got at the moment for my longer rides. Then perhaps a road bike for going for a zoom. A mountain bike is entirely pointless for me. Right. Given where I live, a downhill mountain bike would, yeah, just no point. As the usual joke is, there aren't any hills around here. There are, but not big enough to worry about a downhill bike on. Yeah, if the money was no object, and I had the storage space, then I might. But mountain bikes take up a lot more room than road bikes do. Well, how can a mountain bike take up more room than a road bike? It's a bike. Mountain bike handlebars are about twice the width of road bike handlebars. That's why they take up the space. Most road bike handlebars are about that wide. Most mountain bike handlebars are about that wide. Yeah, that's a narrow bar for a hybrid. That's not a mountain bike bar. A mountain bike bar would be 720, so yeah, 40 mil wider. Yeah, a mountain bike bar would be 40 mil or like 2 inches wider either side. And so I'd end up chopping half of it off. I mean, as it is looking at that, I'm thinking, if I chop 60, yeah. But being as it's a riser, I can stick stuff in the middle more easily. What do you think about the leather saddles that form to your tush eventually? They have their uses. Problem being, you can't get them wet. If you leave them out in the rain, then they basically chuck them in the bin. Yeah, they're not for me. Let's put it that way. There are people that get on with them and absolutely love them, and fair enough, whatever works for you. Personally, I'd rather just have memory foam. Pardon me, considerably cheaper, waterproof. Although saying that, you don't want to know the price of some bike saddles. Ridiculous. There are some that like half the price I paid for the entire bike. Street bike, gravel type, MTB, E downhill, bull taco, motocross hybrid, reverse stripe trailer. Yeah. For good weather, yeah, they wouldn't be any good for me because, well, when I'm at work, my bike is sitting outside, whatever the weather is. So it would either get cracked because of the sun on it, or it just gets soaking wet. There's one of the, as I had inner tube in my frame bag, and it was still in the cardboard box because it was brand new, and it piddled down with rain and everything got wet and it was like, whatever. Well, when I actually eventually came around to needing to use that inner tube, first I had to get rid of the bits of destroyed cardboard that had stuck to it. and it was mouldy. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be using this, but I've got a puncture. I need to get home. So yes, there I was sat at the side of the road changing out an inner tube. Thankfully, my old tyres were a lot easier to get on and off than the new ones are. The Pirellis are a bit tight on the wheels. It's because they're designed for being used tubeless. And I'm not going to use tubeless because that just sounds like an absolute pain in the hole. I want to try out the nylon spokes. Yeah, and it's kind of weird. It's like you think, how can basically a string work as a spoke? And you think that can't work. But then it's the way everything is under tension at the same amount, so it doesn't actually move. And you'd think, well, it's floppy, so the wheel's going to be doing that all the time. It doesn't, because everything's in equal tension that holds it straight. But then I've never had any issues with breaking spokes or anything like that, so I don't think it's going to save a huge amount of weight on a wheel. Obviously, it will save weight, but a lot more hassle. I'll stick with my steel spokes for now. I'm not quite at the level of truing my own wheels yet, so we'll leave that. Thankfully, I've not managed to buckle one yet. Buckled several when I was younger, but that was got that problem. yeah, that's going to buckle wheels or twist the spokes. If you let's see. There is that other issue, just the sheer amount of torque going through it can. So if the hub starts turning before the outer wheel does and starts twisting the spokes, that's when they probably start going ping. And once one goes, more go. And then it goes ping, 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 crunch. Need a new cassette. Yeah, that's probably one of the next things on my list. It'll probably be next year now. Well, that depends because it's not skipping yet. I have replaced the chain, so because the chain was rather mullered. After 1 year, yes, I killed the chain in a year. Just riding on roads. Something to do with the weight of the rider more than anything. Yeah, I do end up changing the chain again. I will get a new cassette or set of gears on the back, for those who don't know. Because yes, they wear out. When you're doing over 1,000 miles a year, they wear out fairly rapidly. And as mine aren't exactly a high-end one, yeah, water and salt and grit and grime and God knows what. Greg, how's it going? Yeah, I can clean my bike, degrease the chain, re-oil it or re-lube it, and within, and it's lovely and clean and shiny and silvery metal looking. Same with all the gears and cogs and everything is all nice and shiny and clean and silver. No muck on them at all. Within 10 miles, the chain is black again because it's just picked up all the dust and muck off the road, especially if it's been raining, which, given the time of year, we're going to start getting more and more wet and nasty weather. and it's going to be, yeah, it's basically grinding paste. It just wears everything out quicker. And, yeah. Especially the roads I ride on. I mean, to work and back is fairly clean road or pavement. But when I go out for a ride out and about in the countryside, you got gravel and mud and years worth of grime and gunk just coming up off the road every time you go through in the wet. And it does tend to. Driving home from lake, lurk mode activate, or Greg's either been relaxing at the lake or he's been fishing. If the latter, I hope your lines stayed tight and you caught lots of fishies. That's always what you want. You don't want some of the days I've had fishing where you've caught too many fish and you just can't not catch. Whatever you do, you seem to keep catching. Because that annoys the other people at the lake, I've found. Especially if they're not catching. You know, you just put one back, rebait, cast out, rod and the rest, start rolling a ciggy. Oh, for crying out loud, let me roll a bloody cigarette, will you? Yeah. Then when people don't realise that you, over the course of the day, well, not necessarily the day, but you're fishing to the other bank of the pit, lake, whatever you want to call it. So you've got the distance spot on, and then you flip the line under the line clip on the spool of the reel. So every other cast after that, you just go, what? And it just sails out, hits the line clip, as long as you bring the rod down as you go, hits the line clip and just plop in exactly the same place every time. Yeah, like about 3 feet from the far bank, where the fish don't expect to be getting caught from because nobody fishes there. Then other people try and do it and they don't realise that you've done what you've done and they're hoofing their gear straight into the trees the other side of the bank. Although I did stop using the line clip because when you hook a big fish and it starts running, if the line's behind the line clip, then you're going to snap the line. I did get a reel that had an auto clip that would release. But yeah, it was just easy to judge it by eye and feel after a while. That's, and again, that's been donkey's years since I went fishing. Last time I went fishing was before I started building models again, so and that was before I started keeping fish. Oh my god. Probably not far short of 10 years since I've been fishing, which is kind of scary. But it's like riding a bike. Might take a few goes at retying knots on hooks before you go, oh yeah, it's that, yeah. And you just do it. And a bit of time practicing casting. Yeah, it's like riding a bike. It's muscle memory. It's still there. You still know how to do it. You just need to fine tune it a bit. Hate it when while taking a break fly fishing, the fly is just dangling big trout and smashing the fly and running away with the rod. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I used to get because I'd be fishing on the surface for carp. using dog biscuits as bait because they float and carp quite happily eat them. On a hair rig, so the bait isn't actually on the hook, it's on a little harrow line, so the hook is hanging under it. And then on a using a controller float, so it's a self-hooking rig. If a fish takes the bait and pulls the line tight, it hooks itself. And that's just the line tight to the controller, not the rod. So yeah, you have to stay close and keep an eye on things, because otherwise your rod will launch itself into the water when a carp runs. Yeah, I've seen people do that many a time. Even using ledgers and fishing on the bottom for carp, but they've not caught anything for a few hours, and they go wander and have a chat with someone. Then you hear beep, 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 as their bite alarm goes off, and as they turn around, you just see their rod disappearing into the lake. You shouldn't laugh, but it's like, well, if you're going to walk away, reel in. Don't leave a bait hanging in the water if you're not by the rod. Yeah. I would say that's how I caught the biggest fish I've ever caught. Was I had just rebaited because I just caught something, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a cigarette. So just drop it literally that far from the bank, about 10 feet to the side of me, put the rod in the rest, start rolling the ciggy, keeping an eye, just keeping a bit of an eye, and the float just disappears. It's like, oh, grab. 45 minutes later, on my light float gear, I landed a 25-pound carp. Oh, Tommy's off for some disc golf, which sounds like a far more entertaining version of golf. Golf is just one of those annoying sports. I don't know. Mostly because I suck at it. Because between me going and like getting everything aimed up and going, yep, we're good. Between me doing that, and that, yes, I know that's not a good swing. I'm sitting in a camping chair. What do you want? But between me doing that, my arms seem to get about 2 inches shorter. Because I keep going over the top of the ball and missing it completely. So it's like, right, well, so what we've got to do is we've got to bend our legs a bit when we swing forward. And then you go bend a bit too far and you whack the club into the ground. Or not quite far enough and you just hit the top of the ball and it goes about 10 feet. Or you get it just right and the thing launches a couple of 100 yards and you're like, where the hell did that go? Need out of the house and into nature. It's slightly challenging. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we all need our time away from things, doing something that isn't necessarily mentally taxing, just to clear our heads out of it. It's like when we go to bed and we're dreaming. Dreams are our brains just working out what's been going on and filing things away appropriately or clearing them out. So if you can clear out your brain before you go to bed, you tend to sleep a lot better and you dream less. Says the guy who has a lot of really weird dreams and doesn't sleep very well. Why can't I just have normal dreams about naked ladies? So I take the afternoon ride and clear the head out. So I don't do it every day, but I'll try to go for a ride at least once a week. Convince myself the only reason we dream is our brain doesn't actually completely shut down. Yeah, because it just, like a computer, if you turn it off, it takes a lot longer to reboot. Reboot? Speak English, Sharp, you're not French. It takes a lot longer to reboot when you turn it back on again. Can you imagine the reboot time if you had to restart your brain every morning? Would start when my backyard ends. Uh, Closest woods to me is about 1.5 miles away. But again, it's flat and there's no trails through it. Well, it's that time of year. Daddy Longlegs, aka Crane Fly, just came zooming in. A very large one by the looks of things as well. Never mind, one of the spiders will get that, or the fish. Depends where it lands. It'll either end up in a spider's nest, spider web, or in a fish tank. Yeah, that's a big old bugger. At least they don't bite though, so I'm not too worried about them. They can be annoying, but they don't bite or sting. So we call them daddy longlegs. They're basically just a big version of a crane fly. So total size like that. She's probably telling me I should shut the back door. Shut that door. But actually, still rather warm in here. It has been annoyingly warm for this time of year. I thought it was starting to cool down, but then we've had a hot spell back into the mid humid again. Which is probably why my bike ride didn't go too well this week. Probably why I started getting cramps and weirdness happening. I actually stopped for a second break. First break was after 7 miles, which is where I was going to go and collect the alder cones. And then the second one was like a mile from home, so after 15 miles. It was one of those where it's like, yeah, I could push through and do the extra mile and get home, or I could just take 5-10 minutes now, have a ciggy, have a whiz, have a drink, just let the old heart rate get a bit under control, de-sweatify a bit, and then when I get home, I'll actually be in a lot better state and be able to fall asleep quicker when I go for a nap. Got hornets under the roof and they're under protection here. Oh dear. And they're annoying and loud, but generally hornets are fairly chill. And they're not like wasps, which just sting because they can. Hornets generally do only sting to protect themselves. So as long as they're not coming in the house, it's just the buzzing noise, which will be annoying. You can avoid them when they're outside. Yes, hello, Daddy Longlegs. Oh, you have been in a spider's web, haven't you? And another one. You'll get caught in one soon. Don't worry. Either that or you'll come and land within stomping range. How can I slipper it from there? Yes. There we go. That got rid of the daddy longlegs. They're not protected. And that is the noise of a slipper hitting linoleum. Now, I'm not scared of them or anything like that. It's just they're annoying. Yeah, good point. Although that one's a bit mullered now to be putting into a fish tank. It's kind of more of a smear than a crane fly. And no, I don't know where mullered came from as a word for something's been absolutely destroyed. Or spannered as a method of describing that you've injured yourself. Yeah. What's the matter with you? Oh, spannered my knee. Needs mechanics, put it back together again. Or a doctor using pieces of metal and bolts to hold you back together again. Where were we? Smishing the insects. Yeah, I say daddy long legs. They're not. They don't bite. They don't sting. They're not scary. It's just annoying. They're like moths. Except, unlike moths, if you turn out all the lights, they don't just like settle somewhere. They carry on buzzing about all night. It's not that they buzz either. They just go everywhere, and yeah. I've woken up with them tangled in my hair before. It's not good. You go to comb your hair, and half of an animal falls out. Not as bad as the time I had my rat sat on my shoulder, and I forgot about her, and then I went shopping, and then she waited until I got to the cashier to stick her head out from under my hair. scared the absolute bejesus out of the cashier. As his rat's head just pokes out around my shoulder from under the hair. I was like, oh, sorry, I forgot she was up there. She was asleep. Bless her. Good old Ratiner. She was a good girl. Yes. Public service announcement. If you're getting your child a pet and you're thinking about something like a hamster or a gerbil, go for a rat instead. They're far friendlier. They bite a lot less. You really have to upset a rat to get it to bite you. What we call a daddy long legs is a house spider that looks like a delicate crowfly. Yep, we get those as well. And annoyingly, we call them daddy long legs as well. Or harvest spider is the other name they get called. Yeah. Hang on, it's not going to show up on camera even if I do pick it up, but I don't even know what. Oh, and obviously the daddy longlegs is the adult form, but I guess the juvenile is just a little larva or something. Mosquito hops. Is there a bigger version of mosquito? I don't know. It's like, why do Norfolk people call a ladybird, which is what we call a ladybug, a bishibani bee? What? Literally nowhere else in the country does a ladybird get called anything other than a ladybird, apart from Norfolk, where it's called a bishibani bee. Yeah. Yeah, rats are awesome pets. I know rats get a bad name because of larvalism. Yeah, they're water based, which is probably why I get them, because I've got a pond. Yeah, rats are just awesome pets. They get the bad name from the rats people see out and about, which is actually a completely different species. The wild rat is a Rattus rattus. I know, inventive. Whereas the domestic rat, the one that people have as a pet, is Rattus norvegicus, or the Norwegian rat. Yeah, also highly inventive name. You know, those occasional ones where the Latin or scientific name actually makes sense. Um, yeah, completely different species, and the domestic rat doesn't carry the diseases, and they still piddle everywhere and poop everywhere, but they're actually really clean animals. If you handle a rat, the first thing it will do when you put it back in its cage is clean itself. Actually, it's not, that thing's not dead, it's still kicking. I walloped you with a bloody slipper, you should be dead. Is that going to show up on camera? Probably not. You can go in the ashtray and we'll squash your head. That'll kill you. Oh, the giant African rats, yeah, they're awesome. They're huge. Same with bunnies. If I was going to get a bunny, again, different species for the wild and the wild cottontail that you might see out in the fields is a different species to the domestic rabbit. So I call the wild ones rabbits and domesticated ones bunnies. Yeah, and rats. You can potty train a rat, same as you can potty train a bunny. But yeah, if I was going to go for a bunny, I'd either go for one of the really small ones, like a mini lop or a mini lion head. It's that big, and the ones with the cute little ears, the big floofy lion mane on the head, very sweet. Or I'd go for a Flemish giant, which is the size of a small dog. Well, not a small dog, size of a medium-sized dog. A rabbit that's like that long, without stretching out his back legs. If you've never seen the size of a Flemish giant rabbit, just Google it. They're massive. Yeah, I think I'd probably, because I'd probably have an indoor rabbit. I wouldn't keep it outside. I might do. If I had a Flemish giant, I'd have to keep it outside because my house isn't big enough. But yeah, if I had a little mini lion head or lop, then it would be an indoor rabbit. You'd have a cage it could go in when it wanted to, and I'd put it in at night and when I weren't here. Otherwise, it'd be free roam. Just hop about and do bun things all the time. If latte's anything to go by, probably just sit beside me and watch TV. Then tell me off when I stop fussing. Yeah. So yes, avoid hamsters. They're psychotic little evil sods. Gerbils aren't as psychotic, but they don't like being handled much. What are the other ones that are a bit bigger than gerbils? Dagoos. Similar to a gerbil, but more rat size. And then you just get rats, which is just chill and cool. Yeah, they might scratch your leg when they run up it to come and sit on your shoulder, but they don't bite. You really got to upset a rat for it to bite you. And a capybara would be awesome. Now we're into the realms of dream pets that are never going to happen. Actually, that's quite a good subject. What would people's dream pets be? And the capybara would be cool. I've also thought of like having a wolf. You know, go for a walk with a wolf. They go into a store and leave tied up outside. Come in, there's just a queue of people waiting to get in. They won't go past the wolf. And I wouldn't go for a big cat, because even if they are friendly and you've raised them since they're a cub, they can still rip you to pieces without even trying. Capybara would be nice. 700 year. Yeah, exactly. Mind you, given how much some dog flavors are these days, capybara would be cheaper and far more unique. And so I've got, if I really wanted to, I mean, I'd have to build a greenhouse to keep them in, but my LFS does sell caiman. Yeah, you have to have 2 capybaras. Well, they need capybara friends. Or a tapir, that'd be cool. Because tapir are super friendly. Although they have only got the really cool markings when they're little. When they grow up, they're just kind of brown. They're still cool. Red panda. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool animals you could have, but laws have been put into place to stop people having them as pets because the wild was running out of them. And yes, there is a goldfish wearing glasses on my t-shirt. It's the same with pretty much any pet, though. I mean, other than things like cats and dogs, it's generally recommended to have more than one, because then they're company for each other. Like rabbits, for example, they're social animals. So unless you spend a lot of time with the rabbit, it's better to have 2, because then they don't get bored or depressed. But then when their husband or their bun wife or bun friend, when one of them dies, then usually the other one's not far behind, because they do pine a lot. Yeah, it's like this. You don't buy 1 corridori, you buy 5 or 6, because they're a schooling or a shoaling fish. Big exotics are banned in Australia for private, but you are allowed to have a brown bear, a lynx, or a wolf because they're natives. Yeah, so we're not. No, what? Maybe 1,000 miles actually. It's not that far from England to Austria. The wildlife is completely different. Mostly because we hunted our brown bears, wolves, and lynxes to extinction. I mean, I shouldn't laugh about that. It is sad, but you know, I think it's safe to say they're not going to reintroduce brown bears. So the wolf reintroduction is still hit and go whether it happens. The wolves are there. It's just getting everyone on side with having wolves running around in the wilds of Scotland again. People seem to think they're just going to eat everyone and kill the pets, and it's like they're not Haitians. Joke. Yeah, I think there'd probably be more will to reintroduce lynxes, because people go, oh, they're pretty. They're just like a bigger version of a cat. I mean, the thing is, the lynx is probably more. Yeah, they're probably more likely to attack humans. Mr. Fishbert, Rob, good evening. Ooh, we have a Fishbert. I'm definitely no Fishbert. I'm not an expert in anything. other than being me. And sometimes I'm not very good at that. So yeah, we all have our talents. I just haven't figured out what mine are yet. There you go. You're lucky if you can find someone's footprint. Yeah. I've got no bears. Usually get in trouble. Yeah, it's. The thing is, the UK and mainland Europe used to have exactly the same animals. Back when Doggerland was a thing, the land bridge that we all crossed over to get here, and then the ice melted back and the North Sea happened and Doggerland disappeared beneath the waves. So if you were wondering why when you listen to the shipping forecast, there's a place called Dogger Bank, it's nothing to do with strange sexual activities at sea. It's because it was the land bridge between the UK and Northern Europe. Ah, so you're not far from me then. So if I say go you steady, bah. Yeah, it depends. You might be a bit further south. East Yorkshire. So yeah, you're a northerner. No offence. Yeah, I'm Norfolk. And no, I do only have the requisite number of fingers and toes, and none of them were webbed because I'm not native. My native is even further south, just north of London. Hence why I've got a strange accent. It's yeah, I say Doggerland, Dogger Bank. It's how people got here. People didn't get in a boat and sail across the channel, they walked. At that point, the English Channel, Dogger Lane, I can beat that. We've got Slut's Hole Lane in our town. That comes from the Dutch, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I don't have anywhere near enough phlegm. Could need some seaweed from the North Sea. I wouldn't put anything from the North Sea in a fish tank, to be honest. And it is where people get talking. Well, I've got to say the North Sea is a lot cleaner now than it used to be when I was a kid. I mean, some of the beaches have even got the blue flags to say they're safe and clean and all that kind of stuff. I remember as a kid going to the beach places like Southend and Clacton and watching the logs float by, playing dodge the log and the condom on the beach. The beaches up here are clean. Yeah, it's getting better now. We've stopped just piping our sewage straight into the North Sea. 6 months or so. Well, I mean, I'm a fair way away from the sea. I might be, relatively close, but last time I went to the seaside, it was a 2-day bike ride. It's a 100-mile round trip, which on a push bike is a fair distance. And also no guarantee that I'd actually find seaweed way close to them. Yeah, true. I'm probably the best person I would know of to get seaweed from the North Sea. Apart from Mr. Fishbert, who's fairly close, would probably be Marret. She's in Oslo, so it's going to be fairly clean. She's basically by the sea. Not that we see her very often at the moment. I think she's out of hospital now, but her back's still giving her a lot of grief. Trying to think who else is close to the sea. Is Danny Boy? Yeah, he might be. Trying to think exactly where Dan lives. Or Andrew, he might. Well, I know Andrew goes to the seaside fairly regularly because he goes sea fishing. So Mr. Aquarium Daily might be the person to ask if you really wanted. There we go. Rob's 5 minutes from the sea and knows where there's loads of seaweed. And there's the other thing. One of the things I'm allergic to, get this, seaweed. Specifically bladderwrack. I'm fine with sea lettuce, but bladderwrack brings me out in hives and difficulties breathing and stuff. And that was when I was a teenager, and I get allergies worse now, so I'd stay away from it. Anyway, my time is up. I've got to go do stuffs. So thank you to everyone for being here, for taking time out of your Sunday evenings. Yeah, my problem, Rob, was I ate it before knowing whether I was allergic to it or not. But yeah, so thank you very much. Have a good week. Stay safe. Enjoy your hobbies. Peace out. Rock on. Bye-bye. Howdy, Jeff. Bye, Jeff. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do.